Hello there guys and welcome once again to my channel. In this vlog, we are sharing with you our experience on Boracay Island hopping, inclusive of lunch buffet last November 16, 2022. This island hopping activity was inclusive of visiting the islands of Puka Beach, Crystal Cove, Magic Island, and Crocodile Island. Then we also did snorkeling and supposedly cow bath and lunch buffet. We availed of the private tour which costed 9,000 pesos for 11 of us. That's 10 adults plus 1 child. The lunch buffet itself, which was part of what we had paid for already, was something like 400 pesos per person. So multiply that to 10 of us, so that's 4,000. Therefore, the island tour itself only amounted to 5,000 pesos. From what we had been told, if we had taken the group tour meaning with others on the boat with us, then we would have ended up paying the same amount anyway. Therefore, with this, we had opted to go for the private tour instead. As mentioned in my previous vlogs, water activities requiring boat transfers or transport would all be done through this docking area. This specific place that you're seeing is in the border of stations 1 and 2. But from my understanding, there's another one like this in the border of stations 2 and 3. Well, for those of you who know better, correct me if I'm wrong. This boat could hold 27 packs. Well, definitely it was enough for all 11 of us. Grabe, you see the color of the water? That's so beautiful. Thankfully, although it was cloudy, we could still enjoy the turquoise shade of the beach. Obviously, it's mandatory to always wear life vests every time you're on the boat. It wasn't just here during our island tour, but in all the other activities that we did requiring boat transfer, such as the jet ski, the helmet diving, and the parasailing. Well, for the helmet diving and parasailing, I have not posted these activities yet in my channel. Again, let me just remind you that when you go for this island hopping, just bring along some cash with you so that at the end of the trip, you can give some tip to the boatmen. Our first stop was the famous Puka Beach. It's located in the north of Boracay Island. That beach is likewise accessible by land. You just need to take the e-trike going there, you don't have to take the boat. Puka Beach is very beautiful and famous for its turquoise water. Unlike White Beach though, the waves here are stronger. In addition, just a few steps away from the shore and it's already deep. Unlike in White Beach where the water is very shallow, even when you are several meters away from the shore. I'm not gonna delay in declaring it, but I'd say that this was the best place that we had visited during our island tour. Having said that, was the boat tour worth it? Cause you can come here even with the e-trike. Well, let's answer that later cause there's still the snorkeling activity coming up, the lunch buffet, and a few other island tours to check out, supposedly. So tingnan na lang natin kung okay ba talaga. Anyway, we enjoyed our stay at Puka Beach as expected. This was our second time being here, and for the second time, it didn't fail to amaze us. The place is very Instagrammable, and apparently great for taking family or group pictures for sharing with your friends. Just like this.
Nice!
Lupag, compress, three, smile.
If you don't have a tripod, you may end up getting the help of the locals hanging out there to take your pics. Medyo maganda na lang kayo ng pang-tip ulit. Especially if the guy helping you is one of those in charge of the crystal kayak activities. They're really good in taking pictures and directing your poses as well. Kaya it's good to return the favor even if they're not asking for it. So ayan, medyo malakas ang alon. The waves are quite strong, so if there are children with you, please make sure that you're always on the lookout for them. And as I mentioned a bit a while ago, there are likewise crystal kayak activities here. Madami actually mangulit sa inyo. And guys, if you haven't done so yet, please watch my vlog on crystal kayak and stand-up paddle boarding in Boracay. Our next stop in this tour is a snorkeling. So somewhere out in the sea, the boat stopped for us to snorkel. But just to inform you, this wasn't a full snorkeling, so to speak, because we were only provided with goggles, but not the mouth-breathing apparatus or mouthpiece. You know, somehow there are still some COVID protocols in place, and this was one of them. As for the life vest, well, we were encouraged, definitely, but it wasn't strictly enforced, especially for those who can swim. We opted not to wear it so we could dive deeper and do some more cool videos of us swimming underwater and all other stuff. Is this snorkeling worth the trip? Well, it was fun in the sense that we got to swim in the deeper part of the sea and to take these cool videos of us. But as you can see, there was really nothing great down there. What happened to the corals, we were wondering. We hardly saw any fishes as well. Asan na nga ba yung mga corals dyan? And did the boatman take us to the right place or what? Eto na. This is it, guys. Our next stop is the lunch buffet. So after the snorkeling activity, we were definitely hungry already and looking forward so much to the buffet. The place was supposedly directly accessible from the shore once the boat has docked. Unfortunately, at the time we reached the island or the mainland, well, if I'm not wrong, we had that lunch on the shoreline of Caticlan, somewhere there, or probably I'm wrong. It may be in one of the small islands there instead. Really, I'm not so sure anymore and I'm not very keen to know either. Because okay guys, it was lousy. That's it. It was bad. Okay, why? So, to continue, the waves were too strong. The waves were too strong there, thus preventing our boat from being able to dock at the designated spot. So because of this, the boat had to make a detour and dock somewhere on the other side instead. And from the shore, we had to walk quite a distance to reach the road where our tricycle service was supposed to fetch us to take us to the restaurant. So this is what you're seeing now, us walking to the road. I wasn't able to record the whole trip as we were quite stressed and irritated about this detour. I wasn't in the mood to record what we had to go through. But to sum it up, our trip to the restaurant wasn't a good experience at all. From the walking to the tricycle ride and rough road trip, all were not tourist friendly, so to speak. Although the ride from the road to the restaurant wasn't that long, it was probably from 5 to 10 minutes. So here's the restaurant, guys. The place is spacious and it was an open concept restaurant. There were other tourists around, but it wasn't crowded at all. So the food menu was consisted of the following. We have the chicken soup there, and then they have the rice, of course. And they serve the chicken and pork barbecue. They have chop suey, scallops, barbecue milkfish, fruits, and juices. The juices, they served coconut, pandan, or lemon. I'm sorry to say, but the food was lousy. It wasn't about the food selection itself, rather the taste of what they had served. The chicken and pork barbecue put on the barbecue stick were not tender at all. They still had bones in them, and they weren't delicious at all. The chicken soup was bland. The chop suey was tasteless. The scallops were dry and salty. And the milkfish, it wasn't tasty at all. The only reason that we managed to eat them was because we were very hungry. But after eating and thinking about it, my goodness, I don't think it was worth 400 pesos. This is the second area that the LGU in Boracay should look into for improvement. Aside from improving the alternate route to this restaurant or any other restaurants providing the same service, they should demand improvement on the quality of the meals being served by whatever company is handling this lunch buffet. The island tour management itself should be strict on this or they may end up losing customers. By the way, the Kawa Bath was located just outside the restaurant. So what is Kawa Bath? Well, just imagine yourself in a large metal wok with hot water and the wok is being heated by fire underneath it, as if you're being cooked alive. Anyway, there were 3 of them outside the restaurant, but we lost interest to try them. Somehow, we were not in the mood anymore after that lousy lunch experience. Anyway, here we were on our way to Crystal Cove, which is in another island south of Boracay.
Oo nga, ang tigas.
Wala nga matigas din siya. Akala ko yun.
Ubus. Saka ang pangit may kasamang buto.
Hindi naman picture.
Oo.
So there we were, still talking about the lousy lunch that we had had. We couldn't get over it. So this is Crystal Cove Island and it offers quite a number of activities including trekking, cave exploration, snorkeling, and kayaking. The views here are said to be perfect for picnics and relaxing. We were informed that we had to pay a certain fee to be able to go in. Again, we were quite tired already at this time and not really interested to go down and explore it. Thus, after reaching it, we had just decided to head back. Obviously, we were not able to go to Crocodile Island and Magic Island either, as we lacked the time and the interest to explore them.
Boss, hati-hati na kayo. Thank you ah.
Salamat po,
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this vlog. The one great thing about this island hopping activity was us being together as a family during the trip, enjoying the boat ride, the view, and the waves. I bet my nephew had so much fun during the trip. The Puka Beach tour was great, but once again, you can go there just by taking the e-trike. The snorkeling, well, it was fun for us, but it wasn't really an outstanding experience due to the lack of beautiful corals and fishes to see. The lunch buffet was lousy, especially the trip there. Well, what can I say? It's something that can ruin the whole trip if you're not careful about your temper and emotions. Yes, the strong waves were unavoidable, and it wasn't their fault that they had to take a detour. However, they could have first of all warned us about it, so we could have either prepared ourselves for it or just simply avoided it. Second, I bet this was not the first time that something like that had happened, hence, the alternative route is something that the LGU can look into to improve. So in conclusion, with the amount that we had paid, which was 9,000 bucks, no, it wasn't really worth it. Well, so how do you make it outstanding then? Well, first of all, the lunch buffet, it should be improved, and the trip going there. If not, then the alternative is to skip that lunch buffet and just go to the other islands being offered, like the Crystal Cove, the Magic Island, or the Crocodile Island. They may be worth exploring, and the experience worth the money that you'll pay for. Yun nga lang, gutom ang abot mo. You may go very hungry, so bring your own baon na lang. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to my narrative. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe.